Admiral Hyun-woo Kim stood in the command center of Geneva Station, watching the stars through the massive viewing window. The coffee in his cup had grown cold hours ago, but he barely noticed. Something felt wrong today. After 30 years in the Earth Defense Force, he had learned to trust his instincts. The communication array behind him suddenly came to life with a sharp, beeping sound. The crystalline structure, a gift from the alien races when humanity first joined the galactic community 50 years ago, began to glow with an eerie blue light. "Admiral," called Sergeant Do-hyun from the communications desk. "We're getting an incoming transmission. It's on the Council frequency." Hyun-woo set down his cup and walked over. The Galactic Council rarely contacted Earth directly. Most communication went through their embassy on Luna Station. "Put it through!" The holographic display flickered to life, showing the familiar chamber of the Galactic Council. 12 different alien species sat in their high chairs, looking down at the camera with expressions that Hyun-woo had learned to read over the years. Today, those expressions were not friendly. The speaker was Vorthak, a tall creature with gray skin and 4 arms. His species, the hegemony, had been the leaders of the Council for over 1,000 years. When Vorthak spoke, his voice carried the arrogance of someone who had never been told no. "Humans of Earth," Vorthak began, his words translated by the communication system. "The Galactic Council has reached a decision regarding your species. After much discussion, we have determined that humanity poses a threat to galactic peace and stability." Hyun-woo felt his blood run cold. Behind him, he heard other officers moving closer to listen. "Your rapid expansion into Council space, your aggressive military development, and your refusal to accept proper guidance from your betters has forced our hand," Vorthak continued. "The Council hereby demands the immediate surrender of all human military forces and the acceptance of Council oversight of all human worlds." The alien paused, and Hyun-woo could see satisfaction in his 4 yellow eyes. "You have 72 standard hours to comply. If you refuse, the Council will be forced to take action to protect the galaxy from your kind. This is not a negotiation. This is a final warning." The transmission ended with a sharp click, leaving the command center in complete silence. Captain Sojin Park was the first to speak. As the chief xenobiologist for Earth's diplomatic corps, she had spent more time with aliens than almost any other human. "Admiral, I've never seen the Council act like this before. Something has changed." General Tae-ho Lee, who had been visiting the station for a routine inspection, stepped forward. His face was grim. "They called us your kind and betters." "That's not diplomatic language, that's the language of war," Hyun-woo nodded slowly. He had been expecting something like this for years, but hearing it still felt like a punch to the gut. "Get me President Cho on the secure line, now." Within minutes, the holographic image of President Min-ae Cho appeared in the command center. Her office on Earth looked calm and peaceful, but her expression was anything but. "I saw the transmission, Admiral," she said before anyone could speak. "How bad is this?" "As bad as it gets, Madam President," Hyun-woo replied. "They're demanding complete surrender. Military forces, colonial governments, everything." So-jin stepped forward. "Madam President, I've been analyzing the transmission. The Council members who spoke were all from the most aggressive species. The peaceful races that usually balance them out weren't even present." President Cho was quiet for a moment, thinking. Finally, she spoke. "What are our chances if this comes to a fight?" General Tae-ho answered immediately. "On paper, terrible. The Council has ships from 847 different species. They have weapons we've never seen, and technology that's thousands of years ahead of ours." "On paper," Hyun-woo repeated. "But wars aren't fought on paper." The President nodded. "Admiral, I'm authorizing Protocol Omega. If they want a war, we'll give them one they'll never forget." Protocol Omega was something that very few people knew about. For the past 20 years, ever since humanity had realized that not all aliens were friendly, Earth's best scientists and military minds had been preparing for this exact situation. After the President ended the call, Hyun-woo turned to his staff. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have 72 hours to prepare for the biggest fight in human history." So-jin looked worried. "Admiral, are we really going to fight the entire galaxy?" "No," Hyun-woo said with a cold smile. "We're going to fight the bullies who think they run the galaxy. There's a difference. Over the next few hours, Geneva Station became a hive of activity. Secure messages went out to every human world and military base. Ships that had been on routine patrols suddenly changed course and disappeared into deep space. Weapon systems that had been hidden in asteroid belts and gas clouds for decades came online for the first time. Captain Wu Jin Han arrived from the outer system with his stealth ship squadron. These vessels used technology that the Council didn't even know existed, based on research into space-time manipulation that human scientists had been working on in secret. "Admiral," Wu Jin reported, "all ghost ships are ready for deployment. The Council won't see us coming until it's too late." Dr. Yunji Nam called in from the research station on Titan. Her voice was excited despite the grim situation. "Admiral, Project Prometheus is ready. The nanoswarms have passed all tests. Once we release them, the Council's technology will become their greatest weakness." General Taeho coordinated with military commanders across human space. All colonial defense forces are at full alert. The civilian populations are being moved to secure bunkers. If the Council wants to see what human determination looks like, they'll get a front-row seat. As the hours passed, Hyun-woo received reports from his intelligence network. The Council was mobilizing their Grand Armada, the largest military force in galactic history. 12,000 ships from dozens of species, all converging on human space. "They think numbers will win this," Hyun-woo said to So-jin as they watched the tactical displays. "They're about to learn that humans don't fight fair." So-jin had been monitoring communications from across the galaxy. "Admiral, I'm picking up chatter from some of the smaller species. They sound nervous about this war. Not all of them are happy with the Council's decision." "Good," Hyun-woo replied. "When this is over, they'll have a choice to make. Stand with the Council and burn, or join the free galaxy we're going to build." With 6 hours left on the Council's ultimatum, Hyun-woo called his senior staff together. "The Council thinks they know humans. They think we're aggressive and dangerous. They have no idea what we really are." "What are we, sir?" asked Woo Jin. Hyun-woo looked out at the stars, where he knew the Council's fleet was approaching. "We're the species that survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and every disaster our planet could throw at us. We're the species that looked at the impossible and called it Tuesday. And most importantly, we're the species that doesn't know how to quit." He turned back to his officers. "The Council wants to see monsters? Fine. Let's show them what real monsters look like when they're protecting their family." The final hour came quickly. Hyun-woo stood alone in the command center, preparing humanity's response to the Council's ultimatum. He thought about his daughter on Mars, his brother's family on Europa, and all the billions of humans who were counting on him to keep them safe. When the communication array activated for the final time, Hyun-woo's message was simple and direct. "To the Galactic Council. You have demanded our surrender. You have threatened our families. You have called us monsters and savages. Very well. You have 72 hours to withdraw all forces from human space and issue a formal apology to humanity. This is your only warning." He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. "We tried diplomacy. We tried cooperation. We tried to be the peaceful species you claimed to want. But you chose war instead. So be it. You want to see what humanity can do when we stop holding back? You're about to find out. The clock is ticking. Choose wisely." The transmission ended, and Hyun-woo smiled for the first time in days. The Council had made their choice. Now it was time to show them what human justice looked like. Colonel Jae Sung-yoon stood in the underground bunker beneath the mountains of Colorado, watching as decades of secret work finally came to light. The facility stretched for miles in every direction, hidden so deep that even the most advanced alien sensors couldn't detect it. Around him, thousands of scientists and engineers worked frantically to prepare humanity's hidden weapons for war. "Status report," Jae Sung called out to his team leaders. Lieutenant Min Ho stepped forward with a tablet in his hands. "Sir, all weapon caches across human space are coming online. The Council doesn't know about 90% of our actual military capacity." Jae Sung nodded with satisfaction. While the aliens had been watching humanity's official military forces, Earth's real weapons had been built in secret. Hidden factories in asteroid belts, research stations disguised as mining operations, and weapons platforms that looked like space junk to alien sensors. Dr. Eunji Nam walked over from the central laboratory, her face excited despite the serious situation. She had been working on Project Prometheus for 15 years, ever since she first realized that alien technology had a fatal weakness. "Colonel, the nanoswarms are ready for deployment," she reported. "We've run every test possible. The swarms will target any technology made from the standard materials that the Council species use." "Explain it to me like I'm 5 years old, Doctor," Jae-sung said with a slight smile. Yoon-ji grinned. "The aliens think their technology is superior because it's made from rare materials that are hard to find. But our nanoswarms see those materials like candy. Once we release them, every alien ship, weapon, and computer system will start dissolving from the inside out. And they can't stop it?" "They don't even know it exists," Yoon-ji replied. "Human technology uses completely different materials and design principles. To our swarms, human tech is invisible, but alien tech? It's a feast." Across the galaxy, similar scenes were playing out on every human world. On Mars, Commander Do-yeon Kim was coordinating the activation of orbital defense platforms that had been disguised as communication satellites for decades. Each platform contained enough firepower to destroy a small fleet, and the Council had no idea they existed. "Ma'am, all platforms are online and ready," reported Sergeant Yu-jin. "The Council's advanced scouts are still mapping what they think are our defenses. They're in for a big surprise." Do-yeon looked at the tactical display showing Council ships approaching human space. "How many ships are we tracking?" 12,000 confirmed, ma'am. Possibly more on the way." "Good," Do-yeon said calmly. "The more they bring, the bigger the lesson we'll teach them." Back on Geneva Station, Admiral Hyun-woo was receiving reports from across human space. Every hidden base was checking in, every secret weapon was coming online, and every piece of technology that humanity had developed in secret was finally being revealed. Captain Sojin Park was monitoring alien communications, trying to understand how the Council was thinking. "Admiral, I'm reading increased chatter from the Council fleet. They seem confused by our response." "Confused how?" "They expected us to surrender immediately when they showed their fleet size. Some of the alien commanders are starting to question whether this war is necessary." Hyun-woo nodded. "The Council leadership wants this war, but not all of their people do. We need to remember that when the fighting starts." General Tae-ho Lee called in from Luna Station, where he was coordinating with Earth's allies. "Admiral, I've got good news and bad news. Give me the bad news first. The Council has issued an ultimatum to any species that tries to help us. Anyone who aids humanity will be considered an enemy of the Council." "And the good news?" 3. Species have told the Council where they can stick their ultimatum. The Kepler Republic, the Free Traders Union, and the Rimworld Alliance are all offering us support. Hyun-woo felt a surge of hope. "How much support?" "Not much in terms of ships, but they're sharing intelligence and offering safe harbor for our civilians if needed. More importantly, they're proving that not everyone in the galaxy is afraid of the Council." In the asteroid belt, Captain Woo Jin-han was overseeing the final preparations of humanity's ghost ship fleet. These vessels use technology that the Council didn't even believe was possible, based on theoretical physics that human scientists had turned into reality. "Captain, all ships report ready for phase transition," reported his navigation officer, Lieutenant Sung-min. Woo Jin looked at his fleet of 50 ships, each one capable of phasing in and out of normal space at will. "Gentlemen, we're about to show the galaxy something new. The Council thinks they know all the laws of physics. Time to prove them wrong." The ghost ships flickered and vanished from normal space, becoming invisible to all known detection methods. They would remain hidden until the moment of attack, appearing inside enemy formations like ghosts from humanity's nightmares. Dr. Yoon-ji was putting the finishing touches on the nano-swarm deployment systems. Each swarm was designed to remain dormant until activated, then spread like a virus through any technology made from standard Council materials. "The beauty of it," she explained to her assistant, Dr. Kyung-ho, "is that the swarms are self-replicating. The more alien technology they consume, the more swarms they create. It's an exponential growth system." "What about safeguards?" Kyung-ho asked. "How do we make sure they don't get out of control?" Each swarm has a built-in lifespan of exactly 1 year, Yunji replied. After that, they dissolve harmlessly. But 1 year is more than enough time to consume every piece of council technology in the galaxy. As the deadline approached, President Min Cho addressed the nation from her office in Seoul. Her words were broadcast to every human world and transmitted to the council fleet as well. My fellow humans, she began, today we face the greatest challenge in our species' history. The Galactic Council has demanded our surrender, threatened our families, and called us monsters. They are about to learn what monsters we become when we fight for our freedom. She paused, looking directly into the camera. For 50 years, we have tried to be good members of the galactic community. We have followed their rules, respected their customs, and hoped that cooperation would lead to peace. But some beings only understand strength. Today, we show them ours. The president's message continued with details of the evacuation procedures and emergency protocols, but her main point was clear. Humanity would not surrender. On the council flagship, War Marshal Vorthak was growing impatient. The human deadline was approaching, and he had expected them to surrender hours ago. No species had ever defied the council for this long. Status report, he demanded from his subordinates. The human fleet appears to be deploying to defensive positions, reported his intelligence officer. They have approximately 200 ships in total, mostly older models. Their defensive installations are minimal, Vorthak smiled with satisfaction. 200 ships against 12,000, this will be over quickly. What the council didn't know was that the 200 ships they could see were just the beginning. Hidden throughout human space were thousands of other vessels, weapons platforms, and defensive systems that had been built in secret over the past 20 years. Colonel Jae-sung received the final confirmation from all human military installations. All systems green, all weapons online, all personnel ready. He opened a secure channel to Admiral Hyunwoo. Admiral, we're ready to show the galaxy what humanity has been building. Hyunwoo's voice came back clear and determined. Colonel, you are authorized to begin deployment of all classified systems. It's time to take off the gloves. Across human space, the real military might of humanity began to reveal itself. Asteroid bases opened to release fleets of stealth ships. Gas giant mining platforms transformed into battleships. Communication satellites dropped their disguises to become weapon platforms. Dr. Yoon-ji activated the first nano-swarm deployment system. Prometheus is active. The swarms are spreading through hyperspace. They'll reach council space in approximately 6 hours. Commander Do-yeon watched as her communication satellites powered up their weapons for the first time. All orbital platforms report ready. The council is about to learn why you don't pick fights with humans. Captain So-jin was still monitoring alien communications when she noticed something interesting. Admiral, I'm detecting communication breakdowns in the council fleet. Some species are starting to question the war. Which ones? The Peaceful Assembly, the Neutral Zone Coalition, and several others. They're saying this war goes against council principles of diplomatic resolution. Hyunwoo nodded. The council leadership pushed this through without full support. That's good to know. With 1 hour left before the deadline, Hyunwoo prepared humanity's final message to the council. This time, his words would be backed by the full might of humanity's hidden military. To the Galactic Council, he began, you have had 72 hours to reconsider your ultimatum. Instead, you have brought a fleet to our doorstep and threatened our families. Very well. You want to see what humanity is capable of? You want to test our resolve? Your education begins now. The transmission ended, and Hyunwoo gave the order that would change galactic history forever. All units, this is Admiral Kim. Operation Wildfire is now active. Show them what we've been building. The Council's advanced fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system, expecting to find a small human colony ready for conquest. War Marshal Vorthak stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at the tactical display, with satisfaction. Report, he commanded his fleet coordinator. 2,000 ships in formation, sir. We're detecting minimal human presence. 1 small orbital station and perhaps 20 defense platforms. This should be over quickly. Vorthak nodded. Begin the attack. Make it swift, but leave some survivors to spread word of our power. What the Council fleet didn't know was that Admiral Hyunwoo had been waiting for them. Hidden throughout the system were weapons and ships that alien sensors couldn't detect. Humanity's first real test was about to begin. Captain Wu Jin Han watched from his invisible ghost ship as the alien fleet moved into attack formation. His 50 vessels were phased out of normal space, completely undetectable to the Council's sensors. All ghost ships, this is Captain Han, he transmitted on the secure quantum channel. Wait for my signal. Let them get comfortable first. The Council fleet began their attack on what they thought were Proxima's defenses. Their massive energy weapons tore through space, destroying the obvious targets with ease. The alien commanders smiled with satisfaction as human defensive positions exploded one by one. Too easy, muttered Fleet Commander Zalthor from the Council's second-largest ship. I expected more from the species that dared to defy us. That's when Admiral Hyunwoo sprung his trap. Ghost Fleet, engage. Show them what real space combat looks like. Wu Jin's ships phased back into normal space, appearing instantly inside the Council formation. The aliens had no time to react as human vessels materialized among them like deadly ghosts. Fire at will, Wu Jin ordered. The ghost ships opened fire with weapons the Council had never seen before. Instead of energy beams or projectiles, the human ships fired bursts of destabilized space-time that simply erased whatever they touched. Council ships didn't explode, they just ceased to exist. What's happening? Vorthak demanded as his tactical display showed ships vanishing without. Warning, unknown, sir. We're detecting weapons fire, but the humans appear to be firing from inside our formation. That's impossible. Our sensors show empty space. Commander Do-yeon Kim chose that moment to activate Proxima's real defenses. What the Council had thought were destroyed defense platforms suddenly revealed themselves to be decoys. The real weapons had been hidden inside asteroids and on the dark side of planets. All platforms, open fire, she commanded from her hidden control center. Massive railgun. Platforms emerged from asteroid fields, launching projectiles at incredible speeds. Each shot could punch through the strongest alien armor like it was paper. Beam weapons that had been disguised as mining equipment suddenly focused their power on Council ships. The alien fleet found itself caught in a deadly crossfire. Ships that had been phasing in and out of space were hitting them from impossible angles, while hidden weapons platforms were destroying them from ranges they had thought were safe. Dr. Yoon-ji Nam watched from her monitoring station as the first nanoswarms reached the battle. These microscopic machines had been traveling through hyperspace since the operation began, and now they were ready to do their work. Nanoswarms are making contact with alien technology, she reported to Admiral Hyunwoo. Beginning consumption of target materials. Aboard the Council ships, technicians began reporting strange malfunctions. Computer systems started failing for no apparent reason. Weapon systems lost power as their exotic metal components simply vanished. Life support systems began shutting down as their alien technology was consumed by machines too small to see. Sir, we're losing systems across the fleet, reported Vorthak's chief engineer. It's like our technology is dissolving. What do you mean, dissolving? I mean the metal components are disappearing, sir. Our computer cores are turning to dust. Our weapon systems are falling apart at the molecular level. Vorthak felt a chill run through his four-armed body. Get me a report from all ships, now! The reports that came back painted a terrifying picture. Across the Council fleet, ships were losing their most advanced systems as the nanoswarms spread through their technology like a plague. The aliens' greatest advantage, their superior technology, was becoming their greatest weakness. Captain Wu Jin pressed his attack, coordinating with the other ghost ships to appear and disappear throughout the enemy formation. Target their command ships first. Let's cut off their coordination. The human ships phased in and out of normal space like deadly spirits, striking wherever the enemy was weakest and vanishing before return fire could reach them. Council ships tried to fight back, but how do you shoot at an enemy that exists in a different dimension? Lieutenant Sung Min, Wu Jin's navigation officer, called, out from his station. Captain, the aliens are trying to retreat. Their lead ships are turning away from the planet. Not today, Wu Jin replied grimly. No one threatens human families and walks away. All ships pursue and destroy. Commander Do-yeon activated more hidden weapons as the Council fleet tried to escape. Mines that had been disguised as space debris suddenly exploded in the aliens' path. Missile platforms hidden in the system's outer asteroid belt launched massive salvos of smart weapons that hunted down fleeing ships. But the real devastation was coming from Dr. Yun-Ji's nanoswarms. The microscopic machines were spreading through the alien fleet like a virus, consuming their technology and replicating themselves with every ship they infected. "The swarms are working better than we hoped," Yun-Ji reported. "They're not just destroying alien technology, they're learning from it and becoming more efficient with each target." Admiral Hyunwoo watched the battle from Geneva Station, coordinating the attack through quantum communications that the Council couldn't intercept. "How many enemy ships remaining?" "Approximately 400, sir, and falling fast," reported his tactical officer. "The nanoswarms have spread to over half their fleet." War Marshal Vorthak was beginning to understand that this was not the easy victory the Council had promised. His fleet was being destroyed by weapons that shouldn't exist, using technology that violated everything he thought he knew about physics. "All ships, emergency retreat," he ordered. "Get us out of this system now." But the Council fleet discovered that retreat was not an option. Human ships had surrounded the system's hyperspace exit points, and any alien vessel that tried to jump to light speed found itself under immediate attack by the ghost ships. Captain So-Jin Park was monitoring the alien communications from her position on Geneva Station. "Admiral, I'm picking up panic communications from the Council fleet. They're calling for reinforcements and requesting immediate extraction." "What's their fleet status?" "Down to less than 200 ships, sir, and those are losing systems to the nanoswarms. I don't think they expected to face any real resistance." Admiral Hyunwoo smiled coldly. "They came here to show the galaxy what happens when you defy the Council. Instead, they're about to show the galaxy what happens when you threaten humanity." The battle was turning into a rout. Council ships that had entered the system confident in their superiority were now fleeing in terror as their technology failed around them and human weapons struck from impossible directions. Vorthak's flagship was one of the last major vessels, still functioning, but even it was beginning to fail as the nanoswarms consumed its systems. "Engineering, what's our status?" "Sir, we've lost main weapons, secondary weapons, and most of our defensive systems. Life support is at 30% and falling. Whatever these humans are using, it's eating our ship alive." The War Marshal looked at his tactical display, watching, as the last of his proud fleet was systematically destroyed by an enemy he had thought was primitive. "Send a message to Council Command. Tell them we need to reconsider our approach to humanity." But it was too late for messages. Captain Wu Jin's ghost ship phased into existence directly next to Vorthak's flagship, weapons charging for a final strike. "This is Captain Wu Jin Han of the Earth Defense Force," came the transmission. "You came to our space to threaten our families. Surrender now, and you might live to regret it." Vorthak looked around his bridge at the failing systems and his terrified crew. For the first time in his military career, he was facing an enemy that was simply better than he was. We surrender," he transmitted back. The Battle of Proxima Centauri was over. Of the 2,000 Council ships that had entered the system, less than 50 survived, and those only because Admiral Hyunwoo allowed it. "Let them go," Hyunwoo ordered as the surviving alien ships limped away. "I want them to report back to the Council exactly what they found here." Dr. Yun-Ji monitored the nanoswarms as they completed their work. "Admiral, the swarms have consumed all targeted alien technology. The survivors will have to rely on basic systems to get home." Commander Do-yeon watched the alien ships retreat with their damaged technology and broken formations. "Sir, should we pursue?" "No," Hyunwoo replied. "This was just the opening move. The real war is about to begin." As the last Council ships disappeared into hyperspace, Admiral Hyunwoo sent a message that would be heard across the galaxy. "To the Galactic Council, your advance fleet has been destroyed." General Tae-ho Lee stood in the war room deep beneath Geneva Station, surrounded by holographic displays showing star systems across the galaxy. The destruction of the Council's advance fleet at Proxima had sent shockwaves through alien space. But instead of backing down, the Council had chosen to escalate. "Report," he called to his intelligence team. Captain So-Jin Park stepped forward with a grim expression. "Sir, the Council has declared total war. They're mobilizing every ship in their space and calling up reserve fleets from member species. Intelligence estimates over 50,000 ships heading our way. And civilian targets? The Council has declared all human colonies to be military targets. They're planning to make examples of them. Tejo felt anger burn in his chest. The Council wasn't just trying to defeat humanity's military, they wanted to commit genocide. Then we stopped playing defense. It's time for Operation Wildfire. Lieutenant Ju Wan Shin looked up from his tactical station. Sir, all stealth teams are in position across Council space. We have assets in over 200 systems just waiting for the order. Tejo nodded. The Council thought this was going to be a traditional war, with fleets meeting fleets and armies fighting armies. They were about to learn that humans had a very different idea of how wars should be fought. Give the order. Operation Wildfire is now active. Hit them everywhere at once. Across the galaxy, human stealth teams that had been infiltrating Council space for years suddenly went active. These weren't large military units. They were small groups of specialists armed with the most advanced technology humanity could provide. Lieutenant Ju Wan had spent 3 years working his way into the Council's most secure facility on Kepler Prime. To the aliens, he was just another maintenance worker, invisible and forgettable. They had no idea he was carrying enough nano-swarm seeds to consume their entire space station. Package delivered. He transmitted on his secure quantum channel, before disappearing into the station's maze of service tunnels. Similar scenes played out across Council space. Human agents activated nano-swarm deposits that had been hidden for months, waiting for this moment. Within hours, major Council installations began experiencing mysterious technical failures. Dr. Yunji Nam monitored the operation from her command center, watching as her nano-swarms spread through Council space like wildfire. The swarms are performing perfectly. They're targeting only Council military technology and infrastructure, leaving civilian systems untouched. Admiral Hyun Woo studied the tactical displays as reports came in from across the galaxy. What about the oppressed species? The swarms are programmed to recognize signs of forced compliance, Yunji replied. Any species showing evidence of Council oppression is being left alone. In fact, the swarms are specifically targeting the control systems that the Council uses to monitor subject species. This was the most important part of humanity's strategy. Unlike the Council, humans weren't trying to conquer the galaxy. They were trying to liberate it. Every action was designed to free oppressed species, while destroying only the Council's ability to enforce their rule. President Min-A Cho was addressing the galaxy from Seoul, her words broadcast on every available frequency. To the peoples of the galaxy, humanity offers you what the Council never has: freedom. Any species that renounces Council authority and guarantees the safety of human civilians will be spared from this conflict. The response was immediate. Within hours of the president's speech, dozens of species began broadcasting their withdrawal from the Council. The Peaceful Assembly, the Neutral Coalition, and many others declared that they would no longer participate in what they called an unjust war against humanity. Captain Wu Jin Han was leading a different kind of mission. His ghost ship fleet was striking at Council command centers, appearing without warning to destroy communications hubs and military coordination centers. Target acquired, reported Lieutenant Sung Min as they approached a massive Council military base. This is their main coordination center for the war effort. Good, Wu Jin replied. Let's make sure they can't coordinate anything after we're done. The ghost ships phased into existence directly inside the base's defense perimeter, bypassing shields and weapons that couldn't target what they couldn't detect. Human weapons tore through the facility's most critical systems, while nano-swarms spread through their technology. Command center destroyed, Wu Jin reported. The Council won't be able to coordinate their fleets for weeks. But the Council's response was more desperate than anyone expected. Instead of trying to fight a conventional war they couldn't win, they decided to target human civilians directly. Commander Do-Yeon Kim detected the incoming threat from her monitoring station on Mars. Admiral, we have multiple Council fleets moving toward our civilian colonies. They're not targeting military installations. They're going after our families. Admiral Hyunwoo felt cold fury wash over him. How many ships? At least 5,000, sir. They're using planet-killer weapons. If they reach the colonies, they won't, Hyunwoo said with deadly calm. All units, new priority target. Any Council ship that threatens civilians is to be destroyed immediately. No warnings, no mercy. This was exactly what humanity had been preparing for. Hidden defensive systems around every human colony came online simultaneously. What the Council thought were undefended civilian targets suddenly revealed themselves to be fortresses. Colonel Jae Sung-yoon activated the defensive systems around New Geneva Colony as Council ships approached. All civilians to emergency shelters. Defensive grid is now active. The mining platforms around the colony suddenly transformed into massive weapon systems. Cargo ships revealed themselves to be disguised battleships. Even the colony's main city opened up to reveal defensive towers that had been hidden beneath the buildings. The Council fleet found itself facing not helpless civilians, but a military force that had been pretending to be harmless. Human defensive. Fire tore through the alien ships before they could even target the colony's population centers. Dr. Yoon-ji was coordinating with teams across the galaxy as the nanoswarms reached critical mass. The swarms have infected over 60% of Council space. Their technology is failing faster than they can repair it. What about the oppressed species? Exactly as planned. The swarms are specifically targeting Council control systems. Dozens of species are reporting that their Council overseers can no longer monitor or control them. Admiral Hyun-woo received a priority transmission from Captain So-jin. Sir, we're getting communications from across the galaxy. Over 100 species have declared independence from the Council. They're calling it the Great Liberation. This was what humanity had hoped for. They weren't just fighting the Council. They were giving oppressed species the chance to free themselves. The galaxy was rising up against their oppressors, and humanity was providing the tools to make it possible. General Taeho coordinated the final phase of Operation Wildfire. All stealth teams, proceed to secondary targets. Let's make sure the Council can't rebuild what we've destroyed. Human agents struck at research facilities, manufacturing centers, and resource extraction sites across Council space. But they were careful to target only the infrastructure that supported Council military power, leaving civilian populations unharmed. Lieutenant Ju-won found himself in the middle of a Council command bunker, watching as alien officers tried, desperately to regain control of their crumbling empire. "Package delivered," he reported as he planted the final nanoswarm seed. "Command bunker will be offline in approximately 1 hour." The Council's response became increasingly desperate. War Marshal Vorthak, barely recovered from his defeat at Proxima, was given command of the Council's ultimate weapons, planet-killer devices that could destroy entire worlds. "If we cannot rule the galaxy," he declared to the Council leadership, "then we will destroy anything that defies us. Target Earth and all human colonies. If humanity wants war, we will give them extinction." But Admiral Hyun-woo had been expecting this move. For months, human agents had been infiltrating the facilities where the planet killers were stored, and Dr. Yoon-ji's nanoswarms had been specially programmed to target these weapons. "Admiral," Yoon-ji reported with satisfaction, "the Council's planet killer weapons have been compromised. Instead of targeting human worlds, they'll detonate in Council space." "How many Council worlds will be affected?" "Approximately 20 of their most important military and industrial centers. The weapons they plan to use against our families are about to destroy their own infrastructure." Admiral Hyun-woo felt a grim satisfaction as he watched the tactical displays. "Then we've given them exactly what they deserve." Across Council space, the carefully planted nanoswarms reached the planet-killer weapons and began their work. Instead of launching toward human colonies, the massive weapons experienced technical malfunctions that caused them to detonate in Council territory. President Min-ae Cho made one final broadcast to the galaxy as Council space burned around them. "To the free peoples of the galaxy, humanity offers you a choice. Join us in building a galaxy based on freedom and cooperation, or remain loyal to the Council and face the consequences of their choices." Admiral Hyun-woo Kim stood on the bridge of humanity's newest flagship, the Freedom's Dawn, as it dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Council's home system. Behind him followed the largest human fleet ever assembled, over 1,000 ships, including vessels from the dozens of species that had joined humanity's cause. The throne world of the Galactic Council lay before them, a massive planet covered in gleaming cities that had ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. Today, that rule would end. "Sir, we're detecting massive defensive installations around the planet," reported Captain Sojin Park from her sensor station. "The Council has pulled back everything they have left to defend their home world." "How many ships?" "Approximately 3,000, sir, plus orbital platforms, defensive satellites, and energy shields protecting the major cities." Hyunwoo nodded grimly. "The Council's last stand. They've gathered everything they have left in one place." General Tae-Ho Lee appeared on the communication screen from his command ship. "Admiral, all Allied fleets report ready. We have ships from 47 different species standing with us." "Good. Today we finish what the Council started." War Marshal Vorthak watched from his command bunker deep beneath the throne world's surface as the human fleet approached. His forearms trembled with rage and fear as he remembered the destruction of his advance fleet at Proxima. "All defensive systems online," he ordered his remaining officers. "Today we show these primitive mammals what happens when they challenge their betters." But Vorthak knew the truth. Over the past weeks, humanity had systematically destroyed everything the Council had built. Their fleets were broken, their technology was compromised, and most of their subject species had abandoned them. This was no longer a war. It was an execution. Dr. Yoonji Nam prepared the final deployment of her nanoswarms from her laboratory ship. "Admiral, the swarms are ready for planetary deployment. Once released, they'll target all Council military technology on the planet's surface." "What about civilian populations?" "As always, the swarms will ignore civilian technology and infrastructure. Only military and government systems will be affected." Admiral Hyunwoo gave the order that would end 3 millennia of Council rule. "All ships, begin the assault. Show them what justice looks like." The human fleet advanced on the throne world like an unstoppable force of nature. Council defensive platforms opened fire with weapons that had defended the capital for centuries, but humanity had learned to counter every weapon in the alien arsenal. Captain Woo Jin Han led his ghost ship squadron directly through the planet's defenses, phasing in and out of normal space to strike at targets the Council couldn't protect. "Defensive grid is down. The way is clear for the main assault." Commander Do-yeon Kim coordinated the ground assault as human marines prepared to land on the planet's surface. These weren't ordinary soldiers. They were enhanced with technology that made them faster, stronger, and smarter than any alien warrior. "All assault teams, prepare for deployment," she ordered. "Remember, our target is the Council leadership, not innocent civilians. We're here to liberate, not conquer." The first wave of human forces landed in the capital city of Zenthera, the heart of Council power. The aliens had expected a brutal assault, but humanity had different plans. Lieutenant Ju Wan Shin led his team through the city streets, watching as nanoswarms spread through the Council's infrastructure. Around them, alien civilians watched in amazement as the human soldiers passed by without harming them. "Citizens of the throne world," Do-yeon broadcast on all frequencies, "humanity has no quarrel with you. We seek only those who declared war on our species and threatened our families. Remain in your homes and you will not be harmed." This was the difference between humanity and the Council. Where the aliens would have conquered through fear and destruction, humans offered protection to the innocent while pursuing only those responsible for the war. Dr. Yoonji monitored the nanoswarms as they spread through the planet's technology. "The swarms are working perfectly. All Council military systems are going offline. Their defenses are completely compromised." "What about the government buildings?" "The swarms are specifically targeting the communication and security systems that the Council uses to maintain control. Within hours, they'll be completely cut off from their remaining forces." In the depths of the Council chamber, the alien leaders who had started this war huddled together as their world crumbled around them. The hegemony, the dominators, the Iron Fist coalition, all the species that had built their power on the oppression of others now faced the consequences of their choices. "This is impossible," declared Prime Counselor Thexvar. "How can a primitive species destroy everything we've built?" "Perhaps," said Elder Counselor Kelthara, "we were wrong about who the primitives really are." Admiral Hyunwoo himself led the assault on the Council chamber, walking through halls that had echoed with the commands of galactic tyrants for millennia. Around him, human soldiers moved with precision and purpose, their mission clear and their conscience clean. The massive doors of the council chamber opened to reveal the alien leaders who had condemned humanity to extinction. They sat in their high chairs, looking down at Hyunwoo with expressions that mixed arrogance, fear, and disbelief. War Marshal Vorthak, Hyunwoo said calmly as he approached the central podium. Supreme Counselors, you declared war on humanity. You threatened our families. You called us monsters and demanded our extinction. Vorthak struggled to maintain his dignity, even as his world burned around him. You cannot do this. The Council has ruled this galaxy for 3,000 years. We are your superiors. Were, Hyunwoo corrected. You were our superiors. Now you're just the beings who learned what happens when you threaten human families. General Taeho entered the chamber with a squad of Marines, carrying restraints designed for the various alien species. Admiral, all Council military forces have surrendered. The planet is secure. Hyunwoo looked at the defeated alien leaders with a mixture of satisfaction and sadness. You had a choice. You could have ruled through cooperation and mutual respect. Instead, you chose oppression and genocide. Now you face the consequences. What? What are you going to do with us? Asked Prime Counselor Thexvar, his voice barely a whisper. The same thing you planned for humanity, Hyunwoo replied. Total surrender and acceptance of oversight. The difference is, our oversight will be fair and just. Captain So-Jin Park approached with a data tablet. Admiral, we're receiving surrender transmissions from across the galaxy. The remaining Council, loyalists are laying down their arms. How many species are requesting to join the Alliance? Over 600, sir. They're calling it the greatest liberation in galactic history. President Min-ae Cho's voice came over the communication system as she addressed the galaxy from Earth. To all free peoples of the galaxy, today marks the end of 3,000 years of oppression. The Galactic Council's rule by fear and force is over. In its place, we offer the Free Systems Alliance, a union based on cooperation, mutual respect, and the right of all species to determine their own destiny. Admiral Hyunwoo looked around the council chamber one last time before leaving the defeated aliens to their fate. Outside the great windows, he could see ships from dozens of species. Celebrating in orbit around the throne world, Dr. Yoon-ji approached with her final report. Admiral, the nanoswarms have completed their mission. All Council military technology has been neutralized. The swarms are now beginning their natural dissolution cycle. What about the liberated species? They're already working together to rebuild their worlds without Council interference. It's remarkable how quickly they've organized once the oppression was removed, Commander Do-yeon reported from the planet's surface. Sir, we've secured all Council leadership. They're requesting terms for surrender. Tell them the terms are simple, Hyunwoo replied. Complete disarmament, reparations to the species they oppressed, and acceptance of Alliance oversight to ensure they never threaten innocent populations again. Captain Woo Jin called in from his patrol ship. Admiral, long-range sensors are detecting celebration gatherings across the galaxy. Entire species are declaring independence and joining the Alliance. Hyunwoo smiled as he looked out at the stars. Then we've accomplished our mission. The galaxy is free. 10 years later, Captain Woo Jin patrolled the outer rim of Alliance, space, where former Council species now thrived under protection rather than oppression. The galaxy had been transformed from a place of fear and control into a community of free peoples working together. On his bridge, Lieutenant Sungmin read the latest reports from Alliance Command. Captain, another 3 species have requested to join the Alliance this month. That brings the total to over 800 member species. Any problems with former Council loyalists? None, sir. The few species that remained loyal to the old order have kept to themselves in their isolated systems. They seem to have learned their lesson about picking fights with humans. Woo Jin nodded with satisfaction. The galaxy was quiet now, but it wasn't the silence of fear that had existed under Council rule. This was the peace of justice served and freedom protected.